Hey there, I'm Bill Lovert. I'm here to talk to you about the iPro allocations. iPro allocations is RTOS's mechanism for proactively planning inbound rail and in-gate containers, trailers, and chassis into the yard in predefined spaces that allow the terminal operator to minimize congestion points and maximize yard utilization in a way that allows for the most productivity. So it's really the secret sauce to how iPro works and allows our customers to maximize their investments and footprints with their terminals. You can access your allocations through our favorites bar. Clicking single click opens up the allocation list. We have really four key varieties of allocations. First being outbound, second inbound, storage, and chassis. Outbound allocations require there to be a departure visit for a train. Inbound requires an arrival visit, and storage is absent of a rail visit, and chassis obviously are specific to just chassis. So let me open up one of our outbound rail visits and kind of walk you through some of the specs. But actually, while we're here, let's talk to some of the criteria that's displayed. So in this example, BNST, we have a depart by. It's either going to be an L series train or a Q series train. The asterisk tailing means that any L visit or any Q visit will apply. So L134 or Q255. The size type, or the size, excuse me, where this allocation is specific to 53-foot containers. We have 5 ranges configured with a total spots available of 685. Of those, 517 are occupied, leaving 65 available. The PSP are planned spots, so as plans are made but not yet completed, this will tick up and then go down as soon as the plan is completed, and then then the number would increment here on the or decrement here on the available spots, and the occupied spots would increment. Walking through the allocation properties, and we access allocation properties simply by double-clicking on the list. We see that we can disable the allocation. We can enable alternate rows. Now, this is really a key feature here to our allocations as well, is that we can enable this alternate rows and advance on each move, 2 moves, 3 moves, 4 moves completed to a particular range. So what this does is it maximizes the ability to spread the work out over a larger area. So say you're planning your inbound containers to trackside stacks. You don't necessarily want all of your inbound containers for a particular size, in this example 53, with a destination rail block of BNST going to a single spot in the yard. That's going to create a bottleneck. It's going to make one crane have an excessive amount of work. So you can click on this alternate rows feature, and you could force this to advance. So in this particular case, it's advancing on every move. So it goes to range 1, then range 2, range 3, range 4, range 5, then loops back to range 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The idea behind that, again, it's minimizing the work for one particular crane, allowing the work to be spread out over a larger range and maximizing the footprint of your yard. You can configure this up to any value that sees fit, but most customers find that they typically will cap that at around 5 or 10, depending on how their operation, their crane drivers, etc. So it's a great feature. Additionally, we see here that moves, the type can be defined as a drop trackside or a live lift. These are specific to your in-gate traffic, and by selecting drop trackside, it's inferring that the driver is going to come in, unhitch trackside, and leave. A live lift is assuming the driver is going to stay hitched, wait for the crane to complete his move, and then move on to drop the chassis in another spot as defined by your chassis allocations. So criteria, lots of criteria to select from here. Typically, 4 to 5 criteria sets are about as far as folks go. Otherwise, you get really granular and it becomes a lot of management. There's a lot of management and overhead that go along with that. So typically 4 or 5 key criteria sets keeps the operation running smooth. And then we get into ranges. First off, we have a group here created, and all of these are wheeled blocks that are part of this wheeled group. You don't need to necessarily create a group, but it's just a way you can kind of recap everything here. So in this particular group, you have 685 total spaces, 517 occupied, and 65 available. To create a new range is really easy. Well, let's start with just by deleting a range. You could right click and delete a range. And as you can see, the total spaces has decremented. The occupied spaces are decremented. Available spaces have not because, well, we didn't delete any of the spots that had available spaces. If we wanted to add a new range, what we typically would do is go into block selector. We'd open up, let's say in this case, we're going to put a trackside block in here just for fun. Open up the trackside block. Open up a particular stack. This is RPA 77. And iPro also, key feature here, we allow the terminal users, the iPro users, to paint the allocation in a particular block. So in this case, I'm going to simply just click on my create allocation range. I'm going to click the shift button, and I'm going to paint this from A to I. It's going to ask me to confirm my max height. In this case, 3. We could go as high as 4, but typically to minimize lift and trolley, we set it at 3. Keeps the operation moving faster. We're talking about the fill order is by stack, and we click OK. And as you can see here, we now have a new RPA range that was created in the direction from A to I, as we painted. And to fill in, obviously this entire stack now is a BST allocation. So any inbound or in-gate containers are going to now have this as an available space to stack to. Again, deleting, easy. Just go in here, delete, and say, well, we really don't want it to flow from A to I. We want to flow from I to A. So again, same principle. Click create your allocation range, shift click, and just paint that down. Again, 3 stack. Okay. Oh, that was a mistake here. Let me try it again. Again, easy to clean up, as easy as it is to paint. There we go. And now we've changed our fill direction. Now we're stacking from I to A, so closest to track, furthest away from track. Again, it's just a matter of preference. Depends on how you want to run the operation. This tells us that we have a 3 height. It flows from I to A. Total spaces available 27, or total spaces 27, and total available 27. And we start at foot mark 1258. This is just for informational. It allows the terminal to identify where they have the allocation, so it helps with spotting and placing rail cars for the operation to minimize the expensive crane gantry where at all possible. So that pretty much summarizes how we handle the iPro allocations. I hope you found this useful, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, Bill Lovren here with Tideworks, and you have a great day.